Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So just when you think the Biden insanity can't get any worse, they disprove you. Now comes Iran. The Bidens, apparently, are about to make a deal with one of America's greatest enemies, Iran. They also happen to be Israel's greatest enemy. Israel is America's greatest ally in the Middle East, maybe in the whole world. But the Bidens don't believe that. They'd rather choose Iran over Israel. They'd rather choose Iran over Saudi Arabia. Now, the Saudis have a somewhat checkered story, to be sure, but by and large, they are an American ally in the Middle East. They won't return Biden's beg for oil phone calls because the Bidens turned their backs on Saudi Arabia by looking the other way as the Iranian-backed Houthis wage war in Yemen. The Iranians proudly chant death to America and death to Israel. So naturally, the Biden administration, perhaps conducting the worst foreign policy in the history of the United States, decides to back Iran with this Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, known as the JCPOA. The Iranians, of course, lie, cheat, and steal about their nuclear development. They won't let the UN or anyone else inspect key areas. And of course, their Revolutionary Guard military arm that basically runs the country is the biggest backer of terrorism in the Middle East. Think Hamas and Hezbollah and Houthis. So, of course, in the middle of the Russia-Ukraine war, after Biden finally declared Putin a war criminal yesterday, after President Zelensky begged Biden to be a true leader of the free world, the Biden administration is rushing pell-mell to finish this Iran deal, basically while nobody's really looking at it. There's so much secrecy surrounding this, but I'm going to speculate on a couple of reports. First of all, the Washington Free Beacon, which claims it got a hold of a Russian and Iranian documents, they are reporting a $10 billion carve-out of Russian sanctions that will permit a Russian construction company to build a nuclear site in Iran. The $10 billion would come by unfreezing Iranian assets in some South Korean and Japanese banks. I like the Free Beacon. I can't confirm all this, but I will quote State Department spokesman Ned Price, who said on Tuesday, and I will quote, "We, of course, would not sanction Russian participation in nuclear projects that are part of resuming full implementation of the JCPOA," end quote. But, Mr. Price, why wouldn't we sanction the Russians? We're sanctioning them in the Ukraine because the Russian president is a war criminal and his military machine is committing crimes against humanity. But we're going to let him build a nuclear reactor in Iran? Really? I think we've all got to kind of process this whole story because it is beyond insanity. It is truly unbelievable. But Mr. Price of the State Department said it, so there's got to be something there. Hats off to the Free Beacon. There are other reports that an additional $11 billion in frozen assets will be unfrozen and shipped to Iran in return for 4 hostages, which, of course, provides an incentive to take even more hostages. Actually, if these reports are true, in round numbers, the U.S. will be providing more financial assistance to Iran than to the Ukraine. Well, you would say that's not possible. I would say that's not possible. We would both say it's an incredible story, can't be true. Well, Press Secretary Madam Psaki argued today that an Iranian deal is in our national security interests. In fact, she said it's in the security interests of the whole world. Right. Those freedom-loving, democracy-cherishing, peaceful living Iranians are going to save the world, right? Right, Madam Psaki? Right, President Biden? Here's the final insult. Even though this would be a treaty which should be debated in advance of the advice and consent of the U.S. Senate, the Bidens are going to try and go around the Senate, just the way Obama Biden did for the first Iranian deal back in 2015. So let's bust the Constitution while we're embracing one of the most destructive terrorist countries in the world. my goodness, the cavalry better get here soon. We need some help. That's my rip tonight.